Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. Couple things I want to cover. First, this video is a little bit out of order, meaning this is happening now. It's going to go up Saturday, and I've recorded a ton of stuff, haven't had time to edit it. Many of them have incorporated suggestions some of you have provided on the camera, trying to get it to focus better. Some of them were recorded prior to that, but this one I'm just going to go ahead and get it uploaded for the simple fact I'm pretty excited about it. There's some stuff I want you to get to see. So, if you follow along at Lone Star Mopars on Twitter or Instagram, I post pictures on both of them. This finally came into work today. I'm very excited about it. Problem is, it is a massive box, right? And subsequently not going to fit very well on the bench, so I'm going to cut it open, pull everything out, and get it showcased on the bench. Couple of things. This will be Wiha Tool Haul number 2, and if you're thinking, hey, you've had way too much Wiha stuff for this to just be number 2, I would agree with you on that, but the main thing you got to remember, quite a bit of what we brought in from Wiha has been through KC Tool. So if you're asking yourself, hey, why did you go direct? Couple of reasons. In fact, I think there's about 4. And first one, there's a big ticket item in here that I've wanted and picked it up. The problem is KC Tool didn't have it on their website. I actually contacted them. They confirmed they don't even stock it or sell it. I'm not really sure why, because they do have something similar in a smaller size that they sell, but that was reason number 1. Reason number 2, there was a couple of in-stock items at WihaTools.com that they did not have in stock at KC Tool, coupled with the fact that I've had a order that I've waited about 3 or 4 weeks now, maybe longer, from KC Tool to come in. Third reason is the simple fact there was a really cool, brand new, limited edition product. I don't know that KC Tool is going to have it. I have no clue how many are made. It's a big reason for me taking the time to go ahead and get this one prioritized. And last but not least, I picked up the entire slew of catalogs. For the simple fact, one of the reasons I think part of what I have back ordered from KC Tool, waiting to come out of Germany, I was sitting there, you know, over a month ago now thinking, hey, I've got virtually every handle Wiha makes except for the Pro Turn and the acetate one, the old stuff. Ordered in a couple of tools to kind of justify having those so I could do a handle comparison. In the meantime, it was getting really hard to find some of the 3K stuff, particularly just a bit driver. I was wanting to replicate that to put in a toolbox. Lo and behold, I started hearing some chatter, like people were saying, hey, that's getting phased out. And then last Saturday, you had GTR, German Tool Reviews. Always throws me off when people say GTR, because I think of a Skyline, not necessarily German. But German Tool Reviews had a video. Of course, it was, I think, 2 products or so that he discontinued tools he wants to see come back, and it was the 3K line. 3K line, you should know, that's my favorite handle that I've brought in so far. So I'm very sad about that. Hence, the entire slew of catalogs. We're going to take a look at those and see what's going on there, see if it's even listed in 2019 or if it's already just been phased out. That's going to give me a solid answer, hopefully. So, with that said, that's about all we need to cover in the intro. Let's go ahead and get this stuff unboxed and have a good time. You know what, though? I was impressed by the box. This is the biggest box I've had direct from Wiha. They had really nice branding on both sides. They had the custom tape, which that stuff's expensive. Standalone, but check out the packaging job. Very impressive. So that always, as I tell you, 99% of the time speaks volumes for what is inside. So there should be a packing list, some other boring stuff in here, but I'm going to get it all sorted out onto the bench, and we'll take it from there. But again, it's little things that I appreciate. Alright, so I've got pretty much everything out of the box, and what we need to cover first is, of course, when you buy from Wiha, you have an option if you breach the free shipping threshold of around $99, $100, if I remember correctly. Not only do you get free freight, you get an option. You can either choose to acquire one of their, soft finish bottle openers. I think this is the only style they have. It would be cool if they had different styles, actually, the different color schemes. This, of course, mimics their insulated, but that is a freebie, just kind of given to you appreciative for your order. Or you can go ahead and go this route with what is part number 91493. Both of these available standalone if you just like to pick them up. But this is their sticker pack, and you've got one 5x4.5 hex logo sticker. You get 2 4x1.32 rectangular logos, and then 4 2x1.8 small hex logos. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, let's open this and find out, because That's, of course, the best way to handle it. You'll want to take care and keep that adhesive tab away from the stickers when you pull them out, just to be safe. And with that, it's time to conduct the first pull. So, this is our big sticker, right? Makes sense. You're going to need a lot of real estate for that one, probably the underside of a toolbox lid. However, if you don't have enough space, fear not, because you get 4 smaller sizes right there. Of course, exact same thing. Very simple, very clean. No addresses, phone numbers, websites, URLs, etc. Just straight and to the point with the logo. And then, of course, you've got the 2 rectangular ones. You've got Wiha, the slogan tools that work for you, and, of course, the Hex logo. So, with that said, of the 3 stickers in the pack, because, again, despite having, what, 4, 5, 7 in the pack, I guess. We've got 3 different designs. Which one do you prefer and why? Personally, I think I'm going to go with this one, but I am interested to know what you prefer. Technically, it's 2 styles, you know, the straight up logo or the one with the slogan. But hey, once again, that is absolutely free if you hit a qualifying volume large enough to justify it. And if you aren't into stickers, if you're stickered out, you can by all means just go ahead and pick up another bottle opener. Included it was the Winter Spring promo, and one of the reasons I've held off purchasing more of the Terminator bits, the ones that kind of have red, which I actually have bought some from KC Tool, but they're just stuck in an abyss waiting to ship. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to move towards this color scheme replacing the Terminator ones. I don't know that for certain. It's just kind of a suspicion I have. I've also got several more of these coming. That's how much I like that. Opening this up real quick, though, is kind of just everything we've been seeing. Insulated tools, all this stuff is on sale. Ultra drivers. They've got some really interesting sets. I nearly brought this one in. It comes with a 1/4 inch sockets, metric and SAE, believe it or not. And then another good option is that one there. It's one of their fancy bi-cut pliers. So if you are trying to pick up an ultra driver for the discounted prices, that's a good route to go. They're constantly pushing the magnetic nut setters. We've got these, which I need to make a different video on. I think the one that I made got corrupted, and mallets are on sale. So I think you've got through the end of the month, something like that. This box right here is their catalogs. We're actually going to leave that as a backdrop, see if maybe the camera, you know, does better with that. But, let's go ahead and I think we'll get started with part number. Grab my sheet here, 32623. And these are interesting. This will be, believe it or not, my first ever pair of Wiha pliers. Now, these might look kind of plain and mundane, but when I spin that around, you can see they're up to something. So, this is their soft grip. It's sort of like the bottom entry-level point, you know, vinyl grip on your channel lock type of a thing. So it's their soft grip bent nose pliers with cutters, which I thought was a nice touch. And ultimately what I'm trying to do is I just kind of like to feel things out. You know, just like with the screwdrivers, this won't be near as extensive. NWS makes fantastic handles. Many of you complain about, you know, the durability of them. I've yet to see issues with that yet, but again, I'm kind of testing a bunch of stuff, so might be an issue there. Knipex, that's pretty much the bee's knees with the pliers, at least from my experience. They're trying to keep this all the German stuff that's new to me anyway. But I had nothing from Wiha, so of course our Philo pliers were made by NWS, just have a different color scheme. But currently as things stand, that's NWS handles are awesome. Knipex seems to be super good quality, and that's where we sort of stand. But these are angled at approximately 40 degrees. This is one of those tools that seems really dumb, and then when you have it, and you remember you have it, that's the key, you will find that these are far more useful than you think, particularly odds and ends. These are made from C70 tool steel. Actually fairly hard here. Low force action, clean cutting, ergonomic soft vinyl grip handles, 160 millimeters or 6.3. So, straight from the manufacturer, extra long cutters for flat and round wire, partially serrated jaws, cutting edges additionally induction hardened to approximately 64, special C70 tool steel forging, soft vinyl grips are oil and solvent resistant, and cutting capacity is up to number 10 in American wire gauge. So I believe most of their pliers, in fact I'm almost thinking all of their pliers, are going to be made in Vietnam. That said, if you check around and you look at reviews or ask people for feedback, the people that actually have them do seem to like them. They don't have many complaints. Interestingly enough, this was so shiny, And again, I am trying to implement suggestions you people have made. So I think it was doing good up until that point. But these looked really shiny in the pack. The handles, I thought they would be a smooth, you know, finish, kind of like your classic channel locks. These actually do have a textured finish on them, which is nice. As you can see, the oil's coming on my hand, so that's probably why they're in good shape here. Don't see any daylight through the gap. That's a good sign, straight from the manufacturer. And then the jaws themselves, let me go ahead and bring this up top. No crosshatch, just simple serrations, and that is super oily. But, I think right here, yes, I've got some 16 gauge gray on hand, so I mean, since they can cut, why not? Let's see how they do. That's interesting. Had to put a lot of force on that, which, I mean, this is not anywhere near. I mean, it says it can handle, and it's kind of crisp. Need to break it in. But third cut here. It's definitely getting the job done, but it's always interesting if wire flies out, if it stays in place, if you can turn it and it comes out, you know, so on and so forth. But a lot of people apparently call these dolphin nose. To me, they're just bent nose, and these aren't 90 degree. They're about halfway to that. So my comparison here, these are some ones I picked up many moons ago. I think I was in high school, actually, when I got these. If you're concerned about their quality, they're great neck, which I know a lot of people sneeze at that, but I mean, hey, they've been with me now for quite a good chunk of time, and they've not let me down. Granted, you don't use them all the time, but I mean, for hard-to-reach situations, these have bailed me out of many, many problems. Sad thing, you know, I live basically in the desert, and some of these tools from that era have flash rusted the cheaper ones on the chrome finish, and that's the case here. But the handles, again, you know, they're comfortable, they're decent, but sadly, and I do take care, I try to wipe my hands before I use anything, get it super dirty. They have stained quite a bit, but these I thought would be a nice compliment, because these, I'd love to go out and pick up a fancy, expensive pair of 90 degrees, but they're still functional, and we're going to leave it at that. So right there is a nice trade-off. And the other thing, these are available, of course, in different lengths. I opted for one of the smaller sizes because that's going to give me an opportunity to get into tighter to reach places, still have good control, and ultimately just to test out the Wiha pliers, see how I like them. Again, not made in Germany, made in Vietnam, but again, the people that actually use them seem to like them. I do like the branding there. That's pretty well done. Again, over time, as with most pliers, they will break in nicely. I'm going to go ahead now and just try to zoom straight in and then stick this in front of it, which some of you are probably cringing at, but hey. You can't really, and I mean, to be fair, even to me, off camera, to the side, it's very difficult to see the serrations on the jaw. You're almost looking like a shadow, but it's not super impressive, but we'll give it a go. Let me grab some stainless stuff here. 3/8 bolt. Let's see how I can pick that up. That, I believe, is a byproduct of oil. But let's do it again. Not bad. Now, coming in on the sides here, that's kind of, again, the serrations where they would shine. They seem decent initially. One thing that is interesting to me, they don't come to as fine of a point as I would have thought they did. They're sort of like, you know, almost looks like I broke the tip off prying on something. That is, of course, by design. But with even these cheaper ones, they kind of come to more of a point, right? And if you're curious where I picked up these beautiful great necks, it would have been AutoZone. That's frequent the place quite a bit, you know, back in the day. So that's something I brought, and again, they're just kind of going to be tested. They're my gateway, if you will, to Wiha pliers. There were a lot of other ones I wanted to bring in, and this one I thought would be unique, useful, and a good way for me to judge if I want to continue to invest in them. The screwdrivers, I'm 100% sold on these. We're gonna feel them out with that. So, speaking of screwdrivers, right here, what do I have for you? I've got something that we threw down. All of those pliers, by the way, were on sale for $18.80. This set me back $14.92. It is Wiha part number 38450. Now, I'm not going to open this, and I know you're probably thinking, jerk. You know, you're going to make a standalone video on that? It's too simple. I would agree with you. The problem is, this is a gift, and hear me out on this one. The plan was to pick up an Ultra driver. This is for my sister's birthday. I know, I'm an amazing brother. Go ahead and congratulate me. Question why I'm not running the country or have more prestigious jobs. And I couldn't answer that for you. But here's the situation. This is what I was wanting to buy. Okay, this is my 3K line. I absolutely love it. This is their bit driver. It's essentially the same thing. That's just soft finish, right? Just standard 1/4-inch bits are going to go into it. The reason I like it is because it's a longer length. It's a hex shaft, if you didn't know. And then it's longer length. It's sort of got like the socket end on it. Most bit holding screwdrivers are going to be something like this old Craftsman one I've got here, which I actually really like this screwdriver for what it's worth. It's really old and it doesn't have great grab even on its own bits, but you know, something like that. The magnet on the Wiha is fantastic. And here's where I went with this. Years ago, I bought my sister one of those like cheap pink tool kits, and the idea was, you know, hey, it's something she can have. She can, you know, put stuff together, take off battery compartments for my nephew when he was little, you know, knobs around the house, things of that nature, right? And it came with what I thought was kind of cool at the time, a battery-powered rechargeable screwdriver. That thing bit the dust a couple years ago, and of course, when I'm over there and I don't have my own tools, which that's why we built a cheap but decent toolbox on the side, which more on that way later. But essentially, it sucks. And I feel bad for her having to use that, and I am the one that gave it to her, and it kind of reflects poorly on me. So this is a fantastic finish. I've covered them a million times. The soft finish is their most popular in my opinion. The 3K, I actually preferred it over the soft finish. I would be in the minority there, I believe. But I thought it would be great for her. Again, the longer length is not going to be a hindrance in my opinion. It's actually going to be a benefit. You just have to think of like routine household, general purpose type of stuff. And the reason that I opted for this instead of the Ultra driver, one, I thought this would be more comfortable, more compact. Two, I thought it would be less likely to break. And the other big thing with the Ultra driver, while I think it would be cool, James Bond type stuff, all these bits magically pop out of the end of your screwdriver. The downside of that is I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, this is my sister. And is that going to be cool, or is it going to be just like considered a pain because she can't find the bit that she wants? I went with the second option. And so ultimately, the next best thing, in my opinion, would be to get her a decent collection of bits like she would have had in the Ultra driver. And that is where this came in. I kind of wanted to see this for myself too, but again, it's a gift. So it's a 31-piece bit set. It's going to work for the 1/4-inch selector. I don't exactly know how this thing is going to work. It was on sale, typically $36-ish. I think I got it for $23.98. But what is included is a pretty good assortment for a homeowner. 4.5, 5, and 6mm slotted 1, 2, and 3 Phillips, 1 and 2 square, which I doubt she'll ever use, but you know, they are there if something weird happens. Torx, which again, more and more you're seeing that in consumer products. T7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then we've got some hex bits for 5/64, 3/32, 7/64, 1/8, 9/64, 5/32, 3/16, 7/32, and 1/4. And then metrics hex, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then there's actually one of their universal bit holders. And this looks to be their really nice blister pack, which I don't think I'll ruin. Sweet. We're going to take a look at this. Part of me feels bad. Part of me is just, you know, making sure we're getting her something nice. So I've never used one of these. I've only seen them online. I thought they looked cool. The cheap solution would have been to get her something like this Craftsman one came with. And I just thought, you know, she's going to lose that. This is big enough that she's always going to be able to have it. It's always going to be there. And most importantly, she can see the bits pretty well through there. And I don't exactly know how it works. I'm actually going to save some time in the video, play with that off camera, and we will revisit that here shortly. But again, that is a gift for my sister for her birthday. I know, brother of the year. Feel free to send your plaques and trophies. DM me for my address. But we had that. This right here is something that I really wanted to showcase for people for the simple fact it's cool, it's cheap, affordable, and if you're bringing in tools from Germany, if you're that type of a person like I am, and of course many of you watching this are, it's just cool. It was an April Fool's Day deal. Wiha on Instagram had this deal that they were introducing their home furnishings collection. And one of the items was a coaster, and then it turned out they were actually serious about the coaster. From what I understand, these are limited edition. They probably just had a set quantity in mind, printed them off, packaged them up, and they're going to be gone after that. I suppose if it's popular enough, it might be something that they, stick to, or maybe even expand on the home furnishing lines, right? If you saw some of my hashtags with home decor, that's kind of where that went back to. But it was an honest April Fool's prank from them. But for $4.96, part number 91485, you actually get 6 Wiha coasters. Now, one thing, I was thinking these would be double-sided. That does not look to be the case there. They are pretty decent coasters, though. They've got the slogan "Tools that work for you" going around continuously on the side, the Hex logo in the middle. But check it out, it's not limited to red. So we got one red, we got yellow, kind of got a cool, that's an interesting white and red combination there. Black and red, which actually pops, looks really good. And then we've got blue and white, which I think is awesome. And we got black and white. So again, coasters are actually kind of expensive. And when you get cheap ones, they're usually cheap for a reason. I'm not sure how these are going to hold up. Obviously, I haven't tested them out. But whether you're inside on a coffee table, whether you're out in the shop, like right here, I've got a table I built. It's got the steel top. Problem is, it gets really hot in the summer when my drinks sweat, and they kind of leave that ring, and they can potentially flash rust or stain the tabletop. Not a big deal, sand it off, grind it, whatever. But you can prevent that with a coaster. And again, basically $5 for 6 coasters. It's kind of more of a novelty. I get it, I'll admit it. But I thought it was cool, and again, these are, from what I understand, limited. And the fact that it kind of sprung from an April Fool's deal, I thought was pretty cool too. So what I want to know from you, aside from the fact that you're probably going to go order these, which one is your favorite and why? So we'll essentially just go 1, 2, 3 across the top, 4, 5, 6 across the bottom. Again, 1 red and white, 6 black and white, 2, 3, 4, 5 in between. Which one do you like the best and why? Blue and white sticks out the best to me. That said, this red on black actually looks really nice, so I will leave it at that. But again, I actually bought 2 packs, if you were curious, because again, I wasn't sure how long they'd hold up, how long they would last, so on and so forth. Plus, it actually helped to hit that $100 threshold. So essentially invested $10 in this for 12 coasters, and they're cool in my opinion. I like the brand, I like what they make, and it's one of those things. I know some of you are like, man, that's so stupid. And the rest of you, though, are like, oh man, gotta go buy them right now. So you're welcome. I'll probably make a quick standalone video on those just because I do like them that much. But that said, we are to that point now where I think I've just got one big thing left, and this is the big ticket item. This is what I wanted to get aside from my sister's gift. It's going to be hard to showcase this one. It's going to be part number 91403. This is a steel stand for 30 screwdrivers. What I'm going to do is cut into the box, figure out what's whistling outside, and we'll take a good look at it. Alright, there it is. This thing is pretty impressive, I must say. It actually exceeded my expectations. What this is a 30-hole screwdriver stand. This is the item that KC Tool does not carry. What was interesting to me about that is they have a smaller one for precision screwdrivers straight from Wiha, and they actually have that one in stock ready to go. This one, for whatever reason, they don't keep at all. But the price on this wasn't terrible at $37.98, especially now that I've got it. It's thicker, sturdier, more impressive than I thought it would be. Looks to have a nice powder coat finish on it. Not going to go into super great detail here, but what you need to know is the footprint. We're going to call this 9.5. The depth here, we're going to go with about 7 3/4, just to make it, quick and easy on us. The biggest selling point, though, I'm going to try to have that where you can see it, possibly. It's about 8 inches tall. And the reason that's important to me, I've mentioned this with the KC Tool screwdriver stands, which are awesome. The one thing that I've complained about is actually what I feel would be an improvement or an additional option, like the magnet. Offer like a 6 or an 8-inch leg instead of like the little 4-inch one, and it would open up a world of possibilities. The longest Wiha driver I have is this micro finish one I brought in to try out, and true story, the more I've used this thing, as not aesthetically pleasing as it could be, I've actually kind of gotten to where I like it. But it's a 200 millimeter, 8 inches essentially. Check this out. We drop it down, and I don't know if you can see down here, but my hand almost goes under, but it is actually not touching the box. So 200 millimeters is going to be about the maximum size you could have. But some of the others, like your 6 inchers that won't fit, this right here is the 3K line, which again, I absolutely love. I kind of, when I picked these up, the anti-cam outs, which again, if you don't remember, they've kind of got like the jaws on the teeth. They're pretty cool screwdrivers. They were clearance, and they were like incredibly cheap. I'm talking like $2-3 a screwdriver for this massive 6-inch version. And I was kind of worried at that point in time about the fate of this driver. Now, the other thing that's important to note, and this might be, you know, exclusive to Wiha, but you can see how there's kind of that step. We've got, you know, the classic handle, and you see that molding right before we get to the actual shaft. That tucks in perfectly right there. So this is going to be super awesome. The only place I've seen this used in a set from Wiha is going to be with like their hex and torque combination stuff, and of course that would make sense because 3K, that's the handles that they use there. Here's my number 2 I keep on the bench in the 3K line, like a glove. Very cool. Now, the soft finish fit as well, I grab my measure ups, which again, these are awesome if you're ever just trying to hit free freight threshold. Spend $7-8 on one of these suckers, have something super unique and useful, and save on your free freight. They fit. It's gonna be cool. Now, right here, since I have it handy, this is my little you know, bit driver with the hex shaft. I'm thinking, oh yeah, it fits, man. So that's super cool that that'll actually tuck in through there. Since it's over here, got the channel lock 6-in-1. It'll drop in. Obviously, it doesn't have the collar, but it sits flush back there very nicely. Here's my other measure up from Wiha. Coolest thing, though, the way this is spaced, we've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rows across, 5 rows deep. It's a nice setup. Now, right here, since many of you will have the Filos because they're just amazing drivers as well, note the structure there. I've got the handle termination, the cap, and then the hex bolster. The hex actually clears. That fits like a glove too. Not as good as the Wiha stuff, obviously, but you couldn't ask for anything better. My big old Wihas over here is the soft finish from that 11-piece set that I can't fit in, but I keep them on the bench. Look at that. I mean, I've got tons of space down here. Let me give you kind of a better view. I think I will do a standalone on this, but check that out. I mean, even that massive micro finish one, which if you look back there at the Speedo on the B-body cluster, right in line with the W on Wiha, there is ever so slightly a gap. And I'd say it's maybe actually like a 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch actually. But I mean, check this out. This is our 100 millimeter right here in the corner. Tons of space. That's a 125 right there. This is 100 millimeter. This gray anti-cam out shaft, which has the black tip, that's a 150 millimeter. So you're getting a pretty freaking sweet setup here. And I gotta say, I'm very happy with the purchase. So I'll keep this short and succinct in this one. Gave you the rough dimensions. The part number again, 91403. And this thing is sweet. So very glad I picked it up. Again, big reason why I went direct through Wiha. This is not even available at KC Tools. So KC Tools screwdriver strands are awesome. I love them. But again, the limitation is the height. And this is a quick solution for me. So I'm going to have a lot of fun, get a lot of use out of this sucker. But we've still got the catalogs to take a look at. So I will get those kind of cleared away here. And we will be right back. Alright, so this is getting a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. So I'm not thinking we're going to go into super detail here. But this right here I got, it's free if you were curious about the price. Part number will be 99998. I don't know if that changes over time or not, but it's a 10-piece set of catalogs. Looks like we're going to have the pliers and shop tools, torques, bits, insulated tools, screwdrivers, hex tools, tech tools, ESD products, and torque control. So let's just real quickly take a look at what is in here, and then I think in a standalone, maybe midweek video, realize it wouldn't be the most exciting for everybody, we'll take a more detailed look. So, pretty cool. We've actually got a little certificate here, it looks like. Ta-da-dun. Certificate body. Very nice. So, let me see how we open this thing up. Let's get the box out of the way. This camera may play tricks on us now. I don't know, but 2019, we've got professional hex tools, which if you thought some of us were crazy about this stuff, we don't make catalogs on it. We got our ESD, got our professional Torx tools, pliers and cutters, screwdrivers and nut drivers. We're setting that sucker aside. Right here, professional tech tools, professional shop tools. I'm kind of excited about this one because I'm considering picking up their split head mallets, and I wanted to know how they were structured. Torque control stuff, insulated tools, and then of course the bits, which that might let us have insights as to what's available and what's not. That said, the one that I was using prior to this, where the 3K stuff is still featured super prominently, right here, key difference, 2018 versus 2019. See right there in the top corner. Other than that, pretty much even across the board. So let's open this sucker up and try to find what page the 3K stuff is on. Right here, we're going to go with pages 14 and 15. Okay, we've just got 3K, 3K, 3K. Screwdrivers, Torx. I think there's even hex somewhere, but square. You kind of get the ideas here. So there it is, pages 14 and 15. Let's open this up. And it could be a change they made it at. Oh, wait, that's still here? Huh. It's pretty much identical, actually, which, you know, that's to be expected. But I don't know. Again, I'd heard Shatter, they were phasing it out, and then GTR, German Tool Reviews, had the video with the 3K handles he had, and he said, I think his words were, he'd never heard anyone have anything bad at all to say about them. And as I mentioned, I realized I would be in the minority. I've said this ever since we started on this, but this handle is perfect for me. I mean, it fits my hands like a glove, and every time I've used it, which you can tell by the tip, which we won't try to focus on, but the black being gone, I've used this one quite a bit. It's my most used of the 3K line. I love it. I found nothing bad to say either. Only good things. I wish they had more offerings in that line. The soft finish is incredible as well, but for me, even though that's cheaper, I love it. Now, the key differences, if you're curious, one, you can hang your 3K, you know, so if you've got pegboard, if you're that type of a person, maybe you've got something set up on your cart. The other downside, if you are in a cart or a stand, you're not going to have markings on the top like you would with their soft finish. And again, I mean, that's probably part of the price difference. But in terms of just throw everything they've got at me and let me tell you which one I think fits my hand and is most comfortable, even though it's not the most expensive, it's right there, the 3K line. And I'm terribly saddened by that news. And again, I've got quite a bit coming from KC Tool. I'm not sure what all of it is still in Germany or they're waiting on, but you know, I was going to do the big handle shootout, but I guess my favorite one's getting phased out, so kind of puts a damper on things, right? Hopefully they do bring that back, because again, the feedback I've gotten from you, the people that have actually brought in the 3K line, everyone's liked it. No one's been like, man, I can't believe, you know, you talked that up, it sucked. It's just been, yeah, that's really nice, and it's really, really reasonable. I mean, that's the other upside there. But with that said, what I'm going to do for you, we'll go in and take a slightly more in-depth look at the screwdriver stand, just mainly in case people skip over the video. They'll kind of get to see that. If you're interested, I was going to turn through all this if we had time, and we clearly don't, but if you want to see anything in here, leave a comment, and you know, maybe I'll just like post pictures for you on Twitter or Instagram or something. Again, this stuff is free. KC Tool has them, but you know, they're more likely to be out of stock than going straight to Wiha, which is perfectly understandable. And then I'll probably make a standalone video on these suckers too, just again because I know so many of you are actually going to want to pick these up, and they're super cheap, a nice throw-on item when you're placing an order anyway. But that's what we got. I realize also I did not figure out how the X-Selector stuff works, so my apologies on that. Might do that and stick it on, so one sec. Okay, so it takes a little time. The button here that looks to be like a button, the Wiha Hex logo, you press it, albeit somewhat difficultly, and that actually will free up the bits here. And luckily, since we just did that for the first time, they are actually held in place quite nicely, or else they would have spilled. We'll test this side too. Yeah, pretty impressed. Now what's cool, we get a little extension here, so if you did already have a bit holder you're happy with, you've got a nice option to extend it some ever so slightly. We'll get that back in, but let's say that my sister just needs the classic number 2. She can come in here. They're kind of ordered logically to me, ascending to descending. You know, your small to large, 1 and 2 squares, 7 to 25 Torx. So we'll come in here, we'll grab the 2. And again, I'm not going to open up her soft finish driver, but just to give you an idea. There you go. So it's kind of like a different way of putting together an ultra driver, I suppose. And I think it'll work well. So if you're curious about how the bits are held in, it looks to be the same type of design we've seen with other products we've brought in. But again, try to keep these as short as I can without going into too much detail. But, you know, some people like it that way. Some people want more. Just kind of take it in stride. But there it is. That's a birthday gift for my sister. Basically have 15 in the handle, and then this was on pretty good discount for 23, so like 38-ish, which I don't think is terrible given the bit selection we're getting, and I do think she'll like that handle. Pretty good bit. Got some bent nose pliers we're going to be trying out here. Again, they were around 18 bucks or so, which isn't terrible. We'll see how we like those. Got the free catalogs, got the free sticker sheet. We got 2 packs of coasters, which is awesome. And then of course I've got that really nice screwdriver stand over there that I'm excited about. So let me know your thoughts about what we brought in. Let me know if you've already placed your order for the coasters. If not, you'll want to do that before the stock expires, I suppose. If you've used the X-Selector before, what do you think of it? Have you had any trouble with it, articulating it? Do the bits start to be a problem over time? Again, my logic was, 1, it's a crud ton of bits that's going to cover pretty much everything she'd need to do, and 2, I thought like, okay, that's going to be large and visible, and it's not going to get lost as easy as just say like one of those cheap bit trays would or something. So I don't know, we'll see if I was right over time, but I do think it's a step up from what I'd given her a couple of years back. So with that said, this was Wiha Tool Haul number 2. Got some pretty cool stuff. Again, if you want to see the catalogs, let me know. Plan to do a standalone on this and the stand, just because they're worth it. So similarly, if you've used their pliers, let me know your thoughts on them. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out the forum, LoneStarMopars.com. Make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. Ring the bell. Jump through the flaming hoops, whatever you have to do to get notified. If you're not, pretty much every Saturday morning should be a new video, sometimes midweek, probably like a Wednesday type of a deal. You can follow along on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It'll keep you updated, particularly Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, I just kind of try to do the videos. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you back here for more action from the shop.